was definitely doing up there.
It's standing
That is
on the
tough.
old watch
Mm-hmm.
and the last one.
I have one of those, yes.
And the sound would be okay?
I have one very expensive watch. It's self-winding. Remember those? They were called
Stand by, everybody.
The sound would be okay?
It goes around your nose and it winds it up. It's about, it was made about 1950s. It was my uncle's watch.
So that was if you're in the hospital.
It would have been.
You'd have to do that, yes,
I stood in
otherwise
line
it
for
will
nearly an
stop.
hour today for a ticket.
Huh?
But I was to buy it from the machine. I think the line was longer. They wanted to see something.
We saw the line all the way back to the signal, waiting to get in.
I know, yeah. I have a friend that lives on 56th, way down the bottom of the hill by 6th, and he was calling me, says, I'm standing on my deck and I can't see the end of the traffic. It goes past 6th.
Well, mine, when I was parking, a couple of her old friends came all the way up, one, all the way up from Mount Vernon, and had to turn around, they waited for 2 hours.
Oh.
I mean, I'm taking my girl home and sitting in the car for 2 hours.
Why did they come from Mount Vernon?
It was, my friend Myra's, lady party.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
And then my old school chums were going to come. We had to turn around because the border was large.
They didn't have
Nice, just run.
No.
Thank God we did.
When we came through yesterday, the guy at the booth said, how did you get here? Because we were the nexus lane. Wait, is it?
The guys at the border, you know, said by law, they cannot carry lottery tickets back across the border. So how does that-
This way,
Yeah.
if they buy the ticket, they can take it home.
You can't come
Then
back.
they can never bring it back. So what we have are friends that asked us to keep their ticket down here.
That's a good idea.
Well, what do they think? You know,
Who
your boards and
pays,
cards.
who pays the taxes though?
Whoever collects the
They
money
don't
pays
give it to
the
you.
tax.
They keep it open.
Okay. Gee, now we got all.
It is insane, I get it.
Okay.
I don't think you can bring the bin.
But if you leave it here, if you buy it, leave it here. It's got a trusted friend, and I am not to be trusted. If that's something that kids want. You know, that's, so these people sealed it in envelopes and then left them with this. Yeah.
You know, they bought tickets for his friends today, and then he wrote their name on it and took a picture and texted it to them.
Exactly.
Did what?
He wrote their name on it and then took a picture and texted it to them, so that they know which ticket is their winning ticket.
Well, that's a good plan.
Certainly is. 1%, that's all.
At
we're
least.
asking, 1%.
1% fee for standing in that line for almost an hour. Actually, Lake didn't stand in the lineup. We went over to where they were selling kids' lawn chairs and went brought one over and sat and scooted through the whole line sitting in a lawn chair. People were taking pictures of it.
Sure. You don't have an agenda? Here, it's a tough one. Passing a copy of it, so you can read mine.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I think you want to go.
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
Okay, folks, it's 4 after 4. January 13, 2016, we'll start this meeting. First thing we have to do is election of officers for this year. Is there anything you might do want to talk about that? Is there something else?
Let's start it off. I'd like to leave it status quo.
You do? Jeff?
Well,
Status quo? Okay. We can make this a long motion, or we can say status quo.
What do we call Stan, those, he vice chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have the treasurer secretary, just chair vice.
Okay.
We don't need one. We have an agenda.
Okay with you, Linda?
Yes.
Good. Public comments? Anybody?
I would just say thank you for including us in the big fire
You're welcome.
and for getting us a number. And we had 9 people there, wandering around, watching, learning.
Yeah, it's interesting to see when everything comes together and the true dynamics of fire, and how quickly it can overtake occupancy, so.
That was a good education.
Yeah, valuable training for our members and for the public that was there, just to see the type of heat and to feel that heat from a distance. We still feel the heat in our gear. A lot of people think our gear is fireproof, but it's not.
Must be awfully hot.
So did my car.
Yeah, his car almost started blistering.
Steam was coming up.
Lucky gas station.
Yeah, we'll put that on the video a little later.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for participating, thanks for showing up at this short notice. Let me know if I need to do anything to help you document that number or what's
No,
required.
it's fine, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next item. Patty, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. One more item, then you're it.
Okay.
Approval of the minutes from last month.
I read the minutes and I'm happy with them. I'd make a motion for approval.
Okay, thank you, Stan. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, Patty, it's all yours.
Okay. January financial report. January warrant total $32,694.58. Items to mention over $1,000 would be the U.S. Bank credit card for $4,930.81. Woodby Telecom for $2,800. The City of Bellingham, $2,874.20. The Washington Board for Volunteer Firefighters, $2,430. The Whatcom County Bars Assessment, $1,930.94. And the Washington Fire Commissioners Association for $1,500. Along with emergency reporting for $2,291.52. Volunteer payroll included in the warrant this month, total $8,931. And the total January payroll is $13,928.67. That includes chief's salary of $4,166.67. Along with assistant chief shield pay of $2,667, and the volunteer portion is $5,679. There was one event for the commissioners and the secretary last month. The total payout for the volunteers, warrants included, is $14,610. And your December financial statements are in the meeting book, and I'll have the final year-end financials. They'll be available at the February meeting once the county closes out. So I am just looking for a motion to approve the warrants for this month for $32,694.58 and payroll for $13,928.67.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Jeff, you have any comments?
We need a motion for the warrant.
Okay. I'll make a motion, 2 motions actually. First motion is to approve warrants in the amount of $32,694.58. Second motion is to approve payroll in the amount of $13,928.67. 2 motions, looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Patty, budget update, if any?
Yes, budget update. I have tentative year-end numbers, but until I get the final reports from the county, it won't be solidified until then. But the percentages remaining in the budget are also on the bottom of your financial report. It looks like we're going to finish the year 2015 with remaining 6.23% left in the budget, which basically equates to, of the 2015 budget, there will be about $33,000 of unexpended funds left over.
Thank you. That is very positive. Chief, thank you for all your doings. Well done last year. Patty, one more item that I'd like to slip in here, if you don't mind.
Yes.
That is Chief Colton's cost of living increase.
Right.
You want a word on that? You want to have a word on that, or you want me to do it? I probably have the same paperwork we do here.
Oh, yeah, either way, I can touch on the basics of it.
Okay.
And the memo goes over the West Region Consumer Price Index as of November 2015. December's number for year-end won't be posted until about January 20th.
Right.
So November, it ends at 1.5%. And per his contractual agreement for a CPI rate increase, I believe the request was for that 1.5%. However, after completing this memo, I'm not sure if the contract date of that, of when it runs, June to June versus January through, or basically January through December, makes a difference. So I think there needs to be some discussion on that.
Right, okay, yeah, I was wondering about that too, and then I have one more question on this. If you read item 5 on the chief's contract, it says that the salary will be increased, adjusted upward, beginning January 1 this year, which is 7 days ago, 12 days ago now. To answer your question, I think we should make this increase valid as per January 1 this year. How do you guys feel about it, commissioners? Or you want to take another day?
Let's determine the contract. That's a good idea.
How about you, Jeff?
Review for me the question.
Okay. There's a kind of a question mark as to when the effective date will be of this increase. It says here in this contract that the first increase, which is this year, effective this year, will be January 1st, and then subsequent years later, January 1st as well.
January 1st.
January 1st, okay with you?
Or was it existing in the draft contract?
Yeah, that's what it says in here.
So we invited this, we paid for this already.
Right.
Okay, Patty, you get this? Effective January 1st?
Okay, effective January 1st, which ultimately will be January's hours are paid in February, so they'll run from February through January.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense, of course.
Okay, sounds great. So I was going to change, so I just want to make sure I have it correct, of 1.5% increase, which equates to, I think it's $750 annually, effective February 1, which means for January 2016 payroll.
I want to make sure, Patty, in the contract, I didn't have time to look at my contract that went in place September, but I do believe the language is still the same from June to June. And I want to make sure that we're following that, and if that's the case, then the CPI in June of 2015 was only 1.1%, not 1.5. So I believe it should only be 1.1%.
Okay, I see what you're saying, to actually match the actual context in the contract. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chief, for bringing that up. That was on my list too. I agree with you. We have a contract, we have to follow that 100%. 1.1%, not 1.5%. Okay with you guys? If that's what it says.
Is there a change in the language or in the provision itself?
No.
The word just is like this version better, and we'll replace the,
No, I'm reading this, and what the chief said from June. The CPI is calculated obviously once a month. For his salary, or for his CPI, he's taking it from June to June.
And that's in my contract currently.
Exactly what it says in the contract. I was reading it later.
But it goes into effect January 1st of the following year. So last year in June, the CPI, the cost of living index, was 1.1%, devised by the Seattle Tacoma CPI. So that means January 1 of this year, I get a 1.1% CPI raise because of the index from Seattle Tacoma. And that will go into effect in my February payroll.
Can I
That's
ask
within the contract.
a quick clarification question? The contract was approved in September? Or
That's
why did we choose?
Effective.
Effective in September, why did we choose June?
It's just the way the contract is written.
That's just when it was written.
Because if you go, December's not going to be available until late January. And so it's a common practice, June to June. It's just, you can pick any month span, right? But within the basis of the initial contract, it was June to June. We kept that in the revision.
And may I ask a question? So the contract verbiage, when it says June to June, that just means strictly the CPI rate that is used?
That's correct,
gotcha,
yeah.
totally understand.
Yeah, that's how I have to look at it, Patty. When you-
Okay, so the 1.1, so that equates to $550 for 2016 divided over the 12 months.
I'll take your words for that.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're all clear on this now, June to June, effective January 1st, for a number of years to come.
So technically next June, we look at the CPI for 2017. And whatever the
Not this June, it always takes the government
Correct,
months
it's a year.
to.
It's a
Yeah,
year.
that's right. By June this year, you will know what the CPI is going to be, or
For January of 2017. Yeah. So we use the previous year's CPI, the previous year's June CPI for the following year's increase.
We all on the same boat here? You too, Patty? Yeah? Are you with us?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Okay, that was all I wanted to slip in. I'm glad we did it. Chief, you deserve it. And I hope we can do this for many more years. 1.1% is a good deal for us. Thanks, Patty, unless you have something else you want to talk about, financially speaking.
I did not, unless anyone have any other questions.
You haven't come back? Seems to me that you.
Yes, you'll see my face, my smiling face next month.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Yeah, she'll be at the February meeting. So once a quarter, unless we ask for a special visit.
Okay, thanks, Patty, have a good evening.
Okay, thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Chief, correspondence?
I have a whole bunch of correspondence. Can you go to my office and get all the Christmas cards and stuff that are sitting on my desk?
Oh,
That's done.
that's not necessary. That's
Not necessary.
Tell us how many you got.
I think probably around 7 Christmas cards saying Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas from a number of different organizations within town. And we also got a donation of $100 from I believe they were a community resident here, donation to the organization, so that just went into our general funds. We deposited that into, so Patty already has that and stuff. But that was very nice to see as well. I think it was for a call that we did end up running, but I'd have to verify that. But a bunch of Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and that's pretty much it.
Good. There's an aside here, what I did notice when I went through the financials here, I didn't notice that the years before, that there are an increasing amount of property tax payers that are delinquent in their property taxes, and therefore are being collected probably the year after or the year after that. If I remember, a property tax payer has 3 years before the county takes action. So I believe in the financials here, we were short about $20,000.
Yeah, there's always delinquent property tax payers. And there's the handful of cards. This is the one that was donated here, but I'll pass these around. There's always back taxes that are being collected the following year. So people who did pay in 2015 will end up paying their taxes in 2016 and hopefully pay their taxes that are due as well in 2016 or carry those over to 2017. So we're not unlike any other district that deals with taxes that are behind.
No. We can thank our lucky stars that we, first of all, have savings, reserve fund, and that we're operating a very, very tight budget and stay under the budget or within the budget. I can see small districts, all of a sudden they're short $20,000, $30,000 a year. Boom. We're not in that position, thank God for that. Okay, Chief, I'll go through those and pass them on to the other two commissioners. Anything else? Correspondence? No, then why don't you continue on with the Chief's report?
So this is the Chief Officer report in January 2016 for December of 2015. Point of information, I'm putting this out there just to keep reminding people that homeowners should call their insurance company and see if they can get a break on their insurance through the ISO rating change that we had within the district. I will be discussing the radio improvements next month. So on the February agenda, the radio improvements will be discussed. I'll be working with our financial manager, Patty Markell, for the year-end report, and then I'll be meeting with the Taxpayers Association as I do annually, actually biannually, to discuss how we're doing on our budgetary purposes. We're currently conducting a recruitment process. We have approximately 40 interested individuals to become volunteers within this organization. Our requirements have changed. Discussing it with my officers, we felt it prudent to not allow people to test for career departments for the first 6 months coming on this organization. They should be concentrating on learning our procedures, our guidelines, and not missing practices and going out and testing for other organizations. So that dropped about 15, so we had over 50 that came to the informational, which was held last weekend. Captain Aguilar did a tremendous job along with the other members of the organization putting that on for the potential new recruits. So that process is starting. They're taking a written this coming up weekend. They have a firefighter written. I do have an interested individual from the community of Point Roberts, but I do not know their name. It is a young gentleman, and I'll be interested in speaking with them to see what their interest is to become a firefighter here for us. I'm submitting 3 grants. I'm submitting an SCBA grant, which is worth about $175,000, an apparatus grant for a new engine, which is worth $450,000, plus sales tax, so it's about a $480,000 grant. And then I'm also putting together a regional cardiac monitor grant for ourselves to replace our LifePak 12. That is now considered obsolete within its technology. And the other organizations, SUMAS District 14, Linden Fire, and Ferndale Fire, are participating in this process. So be looking forward to submitting all of these grants by 2 p.m. on Friday. If I don't get them in by 2 p.m., if I get them in at 2:01, it's no good. So our grants are complete. The SCBA grant and apparatus grant are 100%. I'm just reviewing them for a final time to make sure I have all my I's and dotted and T's crossed. And then I'm beginning the regional grant seeking. I have no reports about the apparatus within the organization. Member roster, we have dropped because we've lost 3 more people. This year, I think we've lost a total of 14 members to career departments in Canada. So we understand the nature of this organization, and that nature is to really bring in people, have them commit to this organization, being a volunteer here, but also help them realize their dreams of becoming career firefighters on the Canadian side. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that our organization is looked at and that we're pulled from a multitude of organizations on the Canadian side. But it's also, we have an understanding that we're a farm team. And we're here training people. We spend very little money on these individuals, as they've spent $16,000 to $20,000 on their own before they get brought on as a volunteer member of this organization, acquiring their firefighter certifications in Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, hazmat certifications, and other technical rescue certifications. We spend no money, we spend basically no money on providing them that type of education. Once they're a member, I do send members out to conferences and things like that to gain professional development, but it's nowhere in the realm of $16,000 to $20,000. So I'd like to thank those Canadians that come here and help us protect this community, because without them we'd have around 15 members, and now we have 41. So this new recruit process will be filling those vacant positions. I like to try to maintain a roster of around 45, which is a comfortable roster for our captains to oversee on the weekend duty as well. So 41 members currently, 25 Canadian, 8 Point Roberts, 8 County. I've also added 2 paramedics to the roster, co-workers of mine out of District 7. They're starting this month in January. It'll be paramedic Scott Painter and paramedic Jonathan Oliveira. And they'll be coming out pulling shifts, providing that ALS coverage. We will be having our 2 advanced EMTs and our EMT graduating in March, April-ish, from the schooling that they're going through to reach those certification levels. The 2 advanced EMTs I have going through right now are Christy Steinberger, who works in the clinic as an LPN, and Ryan Green, who's also an advanced EMT student, and then Brad Lutz, which is one of my captains. He's going through EMT training. So hopefully by April they'll be online functioning for us in that capacity. Currently I have 6 paramedics, adding 2 more, 14 EMTs, 3 ambassadors, 31 firefighters total, volunteer hours for the month of December 2015. 2017 volunteer payroll, 9,906. Combined chief hours, I worked 108. I took some vacation, went back to Kansas City to spend some valuable time with my family, my folks. We recreated a sibling picture of when I was probably 4 years old, 3 years old. And I'm the biggest one out of my siblings now. But my brother and my 2 sisters were there, so we got in front of the Christmas tree and we recreated the same poses and stuff that we had when we were younger. So it was quite an interesting little picture. But it was good to see my family. So I worked 108 hours in December. Assistant Chief Shields covered 164 hours, total hours 272. We had 8 calls in December of 2015, 5 EMS calls. We transported 1 to St. Joseph's. No transports, we had 2. We transported 1 for rendezvous with North Whatcom Fire Rescue, and 1 to Medic 45 out of Ferndale. We had 3 classifications of fire. We had 1 outdoor burn, which was legal. They actually had a permit, which was nice to see. And we had 2 false alarms. And that completes my chief's report for December 2015.
Thank you, Chief. Continuing on unfinished business. I don't think we have anything outstanding.
Thank you.
Right. New business, anybody? Jeff, you have anything you want to talk about? No? How about you, Mr. Full?
Nothing.
Nothing from you, nothing from me? anything from the public you want to talk about? Anybody that really wants to talk to you? No? But transparent, you know, it makes you all that.
I'm just curious,
Linda,
how do you know that there's a firefighter interested in joining your team, you don't know his name, how do you know he
You
exists?
know the name, but it's buried somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So we have his letter of interest
Oh, okay.
from the community, but I'm not involved in the process to know the names yet.
The chief
I'm
wasn't
Just
there.
curious, that's all.
Yeah, I put my officers in charge of that. So once it gets to a certain point, then I'm involved, and I have the final interview with the candidates as well. And I say yea or nay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It'll be interesting to speak to this individual and see what their, aspirations are and what their commitment can be, and those types of things. So it'd be nice to get another community member.
Yeah, he's dual citizen. You
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, as far as I know, his family member of his works at the marketplace.
Yeah.
I think his mother works at the marketplace.
He lives in Sawasan?
That I don't know. He
No,
put a
lives in Point Roberts.
He put a Point Roberts address down. So he's a snowboarding instructor.
Cool.
And
So he's
he has some outdoors experience. So. But he's not trained to any type of certification. So that will be the discussion.
So if they're one of our guys, then we pay for all that education you were talking about?
Yeah.
That the Canadians pay for themselves?
That's correct. So firefighter 1, firefighter 2 is approximately $3,700 to send them to Texas. And they come out with fire 1, fire 2, and hazmat operations level certifications. The reason and importance of doing that is that in ISO and on grants, they always ask how many people you have at the firefighter 1, firefighter 2 level, and you get points for the more certifications and the higher certifications people hold. Here in this county, if I would send an individual to the Whatcom County Fire Academy, they would only come out with firefighter 1. They would not come out with firefighter 2. And these schoolings within the members that I have, there's a 100% pass rate with Texas. The kicker is you have to go down there for 2 weeks. You have to stay for a solid 2 weeks in order to get through all the practical training and scoring. And then you take your written as well. So it'll be a process, and he'll have to sign a contract with the district. So if he decides to vacate this organization before 2 years of serving this community, he will be held to a contractual agreement on back this district a certain amount of money.
There's a 2-year commitment, actually.
Yes.
That's what you tell us?
Yes, I have a year commitment for EMTs, 1.5 years for advanced EMTs, and due to the cost of the fire training, a 2-year commitment is minimum for firefighters that we train and spend taxpayer money on.
Very nice, thank you for explaining that.
Okay. Have a motion to adjourn unless somebody else wants to talk?
Do we have any bills or accounting vouchers to sign this?
That comes right after we do the closing of the meeting. Is that okay with you?
We'll have to.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? We're done.
Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you.
What's up? I'm in a meeting.